Okay. Yeah, this is the third day of our webinar session, and I would be happy to introduce today's session on demystifying on grid rooftop solar panel systems. Uh, I take pride in welcoming you all for the event on behalf of EIPMA. I welcome the speakers and the expert panelists on who will be speaking on solar power. Solar power is a clean energy future. Every day the sun gives off far more energy than we need to power everything on earth. That's why we are promoting solar power by investing heavily in solar panels, solar plants and solar panels. The main advantage is that it is renewable, clean source of electricity. Solar power is also scalable. This means that it can be deployed on an industrial scale or it can be used to power a single household. When it is used on a small scale, extra electricity can be stored in a battery or fed back into the electricity grid. Overall, the sun gives off far more energy than we will ever need. The only limitation is our ability to convert it to electricity in the cost effective manner. Solar power energy is an investment where you have to buy solar system and install it on your home or business property. But after the initial investment, it's just a lifetime of saving with lower energy bills and increased property value. In urban and rural India, millions of homes and commercial buildings have rooftops that receive ample sunlight during the day. These are ideal for harvesting the sun's energy by converting it into electric power. The grid rooftop system allows power to be used from grid supply only when the rooftop solar system is unable to supply the required power. Thus, a well planned rooftop system can efficiently supply power without using grid supply, saving expenses otherwise incurred on using power from the grid. After, an on-grid solar system, also known as grid-tied solar system, is most widely deployed from or deployed form or rooftop solar across the world. These systems do not need any batteries and are connected to the utility grid power. This feature makes the on-grid solar system a great investment with high returns. Rooftop solar systems are becoming a popular source of electric power because it is renewable energy source and it is abundantly available during the day. With careful planning, implementing and appropriate rooftop solar systems can translate into new ending electric power supply at minimal recurring expenses. Even after being aware of many benefits of solar energy, we are unknown to the technology accompanying with it. This would be a very good platform to learn about the technology, its advantages, finances, savings, and how we can install them at homes, industrial institutions, etc. Today we have with us four panelists who would be speaking on this solar system. One is my very good friend, Mr. Harish Trivedi, who is handling sales at Chrisjay Energy Private Limited. He is an MBA and certified solar PV installation and Government of India MNRE, a new channel partner certified. The other person is Mr. Yogesh Talati. who's going to speak on finance and procurement. He is also from Krishna Energy Private Limited. He is an MBA certified solar PV installer and MNRE certified. Mr. Samir Churi, technical, again from Krishna Energy Private Limited, diploma in electrical engineering with certified solar installer with experience of more than 25 new megawatt plus solar installation on contract and for the company. Mr. Dhwani Pathak, again from Krishna Energy Private Limited, is an industrial engineer graduated from Purdue University, US. As a young child, he used to dream of spotless skies and electric flying cars. He has been deeply engrossed in renewable energy field since 2014. Dhwani is a technocrat at heart. I would request Mr. Harish Trivedi to take the next as a speaker.
Yeah. Thank you, Harin Bhai, for the introduction. Welcome all to this webinar on demystifying on-grid rooftop solar. First of all, let me tell you why we selected this subject. Over the years, we have meeting a lot of CEOs, directors, the decision makers. For any decision on capex on renewable energy, it is the ultimate call taken by the owner of the company and doesn't route through a purchase department. So a lot of questions are asked to us about solar, and there are very basic questions. Still, people talk about batteries, they talk about off-grid. So and I would like to thank first of all Raju Bhai and Sanju Desai. So we are having discussion at this factory. They're exploring renewable solar there, and there were very basic questions. So we discussed. Raju Bhai gave us this opportunity on a very short notice, and we have made a very simple, non-technical jargon, presentation, and we'll be open to your question answers. So let's start, and I'll share the screen with you. The screen visible of, could you just confirm the screen is okay?
It's visible, sir.
Yeah, visible? Yeah. So our company name, as rightly introduced by Harin Bhai, is Krishna Energy, and we welcome all the members who are attending this webinar. Go to the next. As I said, demystifying on-grid roof. We are just covering here the on-grid part, but any has questions, we are open to that. We'll answer questions for off-grid and other things also. But we just right now on this session, we are just covering the on-grid part of the solar PV systems. We are not taking the hydro, the wind energy, just the solar PV system on your rooftop. See, understanding rooftop solar, the basic purpose is to understand four things. How we arrive at a decision if your manufacturing unit can go solar. Now, just to give an example, if you want to install solar in Daman, your payback will be too high because the energy unit rates are too low there. Of course, there are some compulsions which have been imposed right now, but like Silvers and Union territories where the rate is less than 4 rupees, it doesn't make sense to go solar. But if you're paying more than 7 or 10 or 15 rupees in case in Mumbai, then exploring solar possibility, you can explore and see if you can go solar. What will be the investment is the next question. What will be the savings and what will be the payback? These are the basic questions asked all over whenever we go. And this is what every solar vendor also will give you in his proposal. All the four questions are answered through the proposals which they send. See, we have just covered the very frequently asked questions. Kitni jagah chahiyegi, like what is the space required? Now, today at present, with higher efficiency modules efficiency keeps changing. So with the module efficiency today, we reach an ideal space of 90 square feet per kilowatt is an ideal space for cable management, for walkthrough on the roofs, to make it more safe for safety lines. More kilowatt is possible due to efficient panels which are available. And nowadays, recently we got news that around 600 watt peak panels are also coming and to be introduced in the market shortly. So it will require less space and more energy efficient panels. battery maintenance is an issue. This is a very basic question where I think out of 10 people we meet, 8 ask this question that we heard battery maintenance is a lot of issues, and this is on grid now, as Haren Bhai said. It is tied to the grid. It's grid tied solar. So there is no battery as such in if it is not an hybrid solar plant. So we directly export to the grid and we import from the grid, right? And where there are less power outages, we always go for on-grid solar, like state of Gujarat, Telangana, even Maharashtra, we don't have much power outages. And going for on-grid solar does make a lot of sense. Billing. We'll cover a billing part of it. We'll see how exactly a lot of questions are asked as how will we come to know that what is my solar generated and what is imported, what is exported, and what I have to pay, or is it credited to go to the next month. So we'll see a case study there later in the exam, in the presentation, and we'll explain to you exactly how a solar bill is generated and sent to the customer. Then a very basic question is, will solar generate if there is a power outage? No, solar plant and on-grid will stop generating in case there is a power failure or there is a power outage due to safety reasons. Let's say there is a transformer going on outside your unit or some place, and if you keep exporting, this units to the grid, there can be, that is for safety reasons, and it will automatically switch on once the power is resumed after say 90 to 150 seconds by the inverter. So if there is no power, the solar will not be generated. So that is another question. Evening after sunset, there is no solar generation. Yeah, payback. Yogesh, would you like to cover the payback part?
Now, basically, payback, which we have worked over a period of time and installed at a site, the payback comes around 90% of the unit in 3 years. So, if let's say if your unit rate is 7 rupees plus, you get your money back with the accelerated depreciation and the solar generation by within 3 years, and that will be taken care of in through the case studies, which will be explaining you later. Now, second point is a maintenance. The solar panels need a simple maintenance. They don't need a extraordinary maintenance. You need to clean with the sponge or anything like a wiper thing which you use for your car, and that can be clean. Or you can install the sprinkler system if you. Then we'll have to take care of the bird dropping and other hard dirt once a month. So it's not a big cleaning also, maintenance part. The entire solar system is basically, if you see, there is no moving part as such. So there is hardly any maintenance you require over the period of time. But yes, then it's in open if you have, let's say, your cable tie and other plastic part, which we basically every 3 months we come there and we maintain the entire plant. Then AMC cost is also not high. Let's say it's around 2% of your entire plant cost. So let's say your plant is costing, let's say 10 million, that is 1 CR. Then you are spending around 2 lakhs rupees annually for your plant maintenance, and with that also we'll be covering at the later part with the case study and all that. So how do you know that how many units you have produced by solar plant? There is a simple, the inverter takes care of the entire thing. And then there is a internet monitoring is also there, which you can maintain with your mobile, or you can on your desktop also. Now, whatever you are producing, it will be known as a export. Whatever you are consuming, it will be known as a import. It is like a simple passbook. So that whatever difference is there, you will be billed accordingly during the month. And that also will be covering in the next couple of slides. And then next. See, can I install without battery and without net metering the solar plant? Basically, this question comes if I don't have a net metering, how am I going to store my solar energy, or whether I will be able to utilize the same during the production of the solar power. Yes, you can do that, and it will be known as a behind the meter. Behind the meter means the user side of the power side, and after the meter is a grid side, you can say. So if there is no export, let's say you have a consumption of 5,000 units a day, and you are producing 3,000 units per day, then you don't need even net metering. That can be adjusted through the new equipment, and you can use that. Yeah. Next.
How do we know what solar power plant capacity to install? So there are a few parameters that you need to be sure about in order to choose what kind of capacity. So your connected sanction load, your transformer capacity, your actual consumption. These three are the basic inputs that we need to decide how much capacity of the plant that you require. After that, we will have to check the actual feasibility at site, at how much space you have to install that plant. And then one more technical feasibility will come from the distribution company, that can you actually install that much plant or not. Yeah, next slide, please.
Dwanit, you can highlight something on Gujarat policy if you can, just few
Yeah,
lines
definitely.
about it. Yeah.
So as far as the Gujarat policy is concerned, we recently had a new policy come in about 3 weeks back, and pretty much the government has removed all kinds of restrictions that are there as far as the registration on how much capacity you can install on your solar rooftop, for your industry or residence, or any kind of open access plant as well on another land where you can wheel power at your unit and take set off. But considering that all the restrictions have been removed, but please do remember that the technical feasibility is still applicable even though all the restrictions on the registration has been removed. So एक side we have all available registration, but the other side we have to be sure that the technical feasibility is approved. So whatever is in between this bandwidth, that is what we can do for solar.
Thank you. Okay. Next, Sameer, you can
Next
cover
slide.
the net metering part of
Yes.
it.
Net metering is a program offered by the utility. That means जो सबसे पहले इश्यू था बैटरी का, कि हमें बैटरी लगता है या नहीं लगता है. सो नेट मीटरिंग में बैटरी की ज़रूरत नहीं होती है. हम लोग जो भी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं वो डिस्कॉम या ग्रिड को हम लोग सप्लाई करते हैं. वापस हमें जो जितना कंजम्पशन होता है हम लोग ग्रिड से इंपोर्ट कर लेते हैं. सो ये दोनों का सेटअप जो होता है वो हमारा एक्चुअल नेट बिल होता है, और ये बाई डायरेक्शनल मीटर होता है, तो जिसमें हम लोग इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट दोनों कैलकुलेशंस आ जाते हैं. एज नेक्स्ट स्लाइड.
या ओके.
यहाँ पे हम देख सकते हैं इंपोर्ट यूनिट सेपरेटली मेंशंस किए जाते हैं, एक्सपोर्ट यूनिट वहाँ पे अपने बिलिंग या मीटर पे सारे आ जाते हैं, और नेट मीटर का एक प्रॉपर बिल हमें जनरेट हो जाता है.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to the next slide. Yes. Yogesh, slide number.
Yeah,
20.
see, basically how we derive it, that what is the plant size required. So this is, we have put this sample bill. If you see on the right hand side, it will show you the monthly your unit consumption is there. And then from that we derive at the plant size, that what is the actual plant you require. And basically we divide, we take an average out of it. So this is the main sample which we give it to you. That from January till December, whatever is your grid consumption is there, then we average it out. And then on the basis of that, we decide what is the plant size is required. In terms of your local if any restriction is there, that Maharashtra, if you have a 50% cap and all that. And then on the basis of that, we are install the solar power plant. and then we give this entire payback, that what is the solar generation on month-to-month basis, then what will be your balance grid which you are going to pay, and what will be your average per unit saving is there. So this is here we have seen that 11 rupees 30 paisa is the average price which this particular user is paying.
Go to the next slide.
Yeah.
This is an industrial, yeah.
So this is an industrial one wherein they have a 12 rupees 77 paisa as an average per unit rate is there. Then if you install the solar power plant, what will be your saving, what will be your payback, what will be your installment, and all these things we basically consumption analysis which we provide.
So here I would like to add, this is a warehouse in Bhiwandi. Bhiwandi, as in Maharashtra, the rates are too high in Bhiwandi because they only get torrent power from Gujarat. So this is a warehouse which already they had that payback, and they have gone for a third warehouse in the same area. So this is an actual, it's a savings after the investment. This is 3 years back, and this is actual savings they have been doing every year, and that we are doing the third warehouse. I would like to, yeah, Yogesh, you would like to go to the PDF?
Yes, you can please.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yes, Yogesh, you can.
Yeah, your PDF is not on the screen. You have to share that PDF.
I've already shared it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Share screen. Is it on now?
No, yes, it is on. Just you have
Yeah,
to
okay.
press that plus so that.
Yeah, I'll
you
do
can-
that. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. See, basically, this is the solar unit costing and the investment plan which we give basically. So this is the key input. Now, let's say on the basis of the once the model which we have shown, on the basis of that we have come out that this particular party is required, let's say 350 kilowatt plant. Then unit generation per year at that particular location, let's say 1300 units per year per kilowatt. So that 4,55,000 units will be generated annually. Now, the cost of the solar power plant here, we have said it is 38,750 without the GST, and with GST, and this is your total investment is 1 crore 47 lakh rupees is the total investment for this particular 350 kilowatt of plant. This is the OEM charges, that is 450 rupees per kilowatt. So your annual maintenance charges is going to be 1,57,000 rupees, which is practically almost 1% of your entire investment. Now, this particular party, let's say their unit price, which is 7 rupees 39 paisa. So if you see basically in Valsad and other places wherein the 7 rupees is the base rate plus taxes and all that, it comes to 7 rupees 39 paisa per unit. Yeah. And if you are taking a bank finance from the bank and 8 rupees 25 paisa, this will be the cost of capital which we have calculated for the purpose of the how you derive at the entire costing of that particular plant and the savings of that plant. Yeah. See, here we have taken this 1 crore 44 lakh is your entire. Harin, you
Okay.
close this right side, right arrow, you close this one here. Yeah. Yeah. So 1 crore 47 lakh is your plant capex. On the left side, I'll move. Yeah, here.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah. So let's say you have taken a bank loan at 25% of your capital you have employed, which is 36 lakhs 92,391. Then and this is the EMI per. So I have calculated per lakh EMI also. So you will be paying 31 lakh 79,148 every year towards your bank EMI. Now, this is the plant degradation we have taken. Let's say first year it is generating 4,55,000, which I have shown in earlier slide. And then it is degrading by 0.7% on the year-on-year basis. So that is you will be, every year you will be generating less units. Now, this is the asset value. Asset value is basically you get a 40% depreciation, accelerated depreciation on entire solar plant. So this is the value which we have taken. And then on 147.69, you will get 88 lakh 40% is your 88 lakhs is your depreciation, and your 14 lakh 79,000 you will be saving as a 25% tax slab. Now this 4,55,000 unit multiply by 7.4, that is 7.4 is your 39 is your rate. So annually you will be saving 33,62,450. So basically this amount is greater than what you are paying it to the bank. That is 31,79,148, which you are paying. You are generating saving, in fact, more on that. Plus you have a tax saving. So your net cash flow is minus 21,89,632 for the first year. But second year onwards, here we have taken 2% escalation on the power tariff. So next year you will be generating 34,05,691 rupees of power, and you are paying bank 31,79,148. This is the amount you are paying for the 1,69,950. You are paying for the maintenance charges. Still, your cash flow is 9,45,767 on the plus side. And from the fourth year onwards, after the first year, you will be saving 35 lakhs rupees, 33 lakhs rupees. This is the entire worksheet which we provide, and you can vet that. And already, this is already happening with our most of the customer from the industrial side.
Yeah. Done? Right.
Yeah. Okay. And this is, I have again made another worksheet wherein you are taking, let's say, 10%. So we, on the one-to-one basis, we go to the customer and say, what is your cost of capital? If it is a 10%, then we give the entire worksheet on the basis of the 10%.
10 rupees.
10% here. And then we have taken the unit rate is 10 also. So on the basis of these two parameters, we can provide what is the cost of return and investment and all that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Yogesh. And let me share the screen again. Let's go back to our, So would you like to explain the bill? Actually, this is the actual solar bill is generated at a site once solar is installed. Yeah.
Yeah, see here, if you see properly that 34,000 rupees is the bill for that particular month. And because of the earlier credit, which was 35,000 and odd rupees, the bill has come for 1,200 rupees credit. So this is basically the advantage of net metering. When you are exporting and not utilizing your energy, you get a credit basically. Or if your plant size is more, and then you are saving the energy. And this is basically the sample of the bill which we are getting from the DISCOM. This is the import which we have marked. This is the import of the from the grid. This is the export to the grid. And the entire bill, which is earlier current month bill was 34,000. Earlier previous balance was 35,000. So you hardly get this. You got the credit of 1,200 rupees. Now here, if you see in the last column, their bill was around 6,000, 6,500, 7,000 was the average there. And
unit
then
consumption.
Unit consumption. And then from February onwards, it has started decreasing. And 3 months it was off because of April, May and June. We know because of COVID, everything was shut. So, and then from July onwards, again, it has picked up. So 1,600. So he is almost saving here 5,000 units a month. And here they have a flat rate of 14 rupees in Mumbai. So the entire saving is around 70,000 rupees monthly. So their plant cost, which we have worked out, is 2.5 years they have got their money back.
So this is a temple at Juhu. Say previously August 19, they were paying nearly 1,30,000 bill, and in July they're paying 20,000. If we just take February, which was working, it is around 22,000 rupees. So even if your winter is factored into, but still from 1,29,000 to 20,000. So this is the savings at the temple, and it really helps the trust to save a lot of money there. Yeah. Yes. So advantages of going solar. As we said, that solar plant, it keeps saving for 25 years, depending on your location. We have just given an example of a residential unit from 14,000 to 15,000 units, depending on the location, and shadow analysis done by us. The system pays itself over 5 times. You have to just minimum maintenance is required for any residential, solar plant. Gujarat has a lot of subsidy under 10 kilowatts, which we can take it offline. We can lock the electricity rates. Like Yogesh said, every year, 2% there is increase in the tariff cost or the unit prices. We lock as far as solar goes. Let's say I have install a 10 kilowatt solar plant, around 14,000 to 15,000 units I'll be locking, and I'll not be paying any extra charges. So that is one. And save the planet. Very few people today, to be very honest, we don't talk about really saving the environment, but we have people who now think about that irrespective of what I want to install solar and save, because it saves. You just take an example of a 10 kilowatt, you reduce the carbon footprint equivalent to traveling 50,000 kilometers by your car or planting 40 trees, in that period. So really it is environment friendly, and we got to do. Yes, Dwan, if you can take this subsidy part of it, sir. Dwan,
Yeah. So
you can just
circling,
cover it in short if you want to.
yeah, circling back to the discussion on how Gujarat's new policy has been very positive in nature. The Gujarat's, apart from the Gujarat's solar policy, the new industrial policy for Gujarat that came out in mid 2020 was also quite favorable for solar. For the first time, there has been introduced a subsidy scheme for commercial solar installations, which was never there earlier. Since the last 5 years, there has been a residential subsidy available to the central government for entire India, but Gujarat is the first state wherein an industrial subsidy has been started for the purpose of industrial solar projects. So there are two kinds of subsidies available. One is the interest subsidy. So if you take 75% loan on investing on your solar power plant, the government will, through the bank, provide you with 5 to 7% of subsidy, provided there should be at least 2% gap between your interest rate on the loan and your subsidized interest. Apart from this, if you have a new unit coming up or you set up a new solar power plant unit on its own and sell power to somebody else, in that case, you get an additional 25 to 35% capital subsidy up to 35 lakh rupees on your single investment of solar power plant. So this is additional, but the only condition is that it has to be a new unit. Apart from this, for any excess unit that is generated in the solar power plant, so let's say you are consuming X power, but on Sundays or weekly offs, and you're not going to consume all your captive power. In this case, if the units are not banked or they cannot be set off against your consumption units, the local distribution company has to pay you for that unit because they will use that unit. So even that rate has been increased in Gujarat to 2.25 rupees per watt. So if you calculate the return on investment, even if you were to export all your units, it will be above 8%, non-taxable, which is much higher than FD, in fact. And the last thing is assistance for turning polluting industries into green industrial estates. Now, this is the first time and a one-of-a-kind policy that has been introduced by the state government. Depending on the kind of project you're setting up, there will be up to 25% project cost as subsidy that will be allocated to the new industry that is being set up, from polluting to green industrial estate. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? We'll take it after the interview question answer section.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Dwan. Yeah, this is just, we are just taking quickly the site, every site has a challenge, and every site may be, a different type of installations that require. This is an inverter room. This is solar on a terrace. It's an RCC construction, so not much of an hassle. You just install the solar panels on the roof and it's done. There are at times challenges of asbestos or Jindal steel, like you see here. There is a challenge. There's an older unit, and we have to use a lot of this walkways and cable management, and we have to be careful that asbestos, whether it can take the load. So all the structure, like Dhonit said, feasibility, technical, as well as which includes this part too, is to be taken care of. This is in an open park. We have raised it to around 14 feet height, and we have done it. This is a residential unit. He just covered the area and made this below area waterproof kind of thing. And so these are just few installation. This is again plain. You can see the walkway and the cable management for maintenance and safety lines. We do take care of the ventilation system. This is a pure terrace solar installation, and this is at times there is a challenge so this is a picture we are showing, and we take care of waterproofing. And a lot of people have questions that if you put fasteners and all, what will happen to the waterproof? That taken by each and every vendor takes care of. That will be a waterproof, and enough care is taken, so there is no water leakage from the roof to the unit. Again, we'll just move on quickly. These are the inverter rooms. Every challenge is a residential. This is an industrial unit. You can see you need so many, the strings, and every string has an inverter, which takes care of a lot of security, and safety measures are taken unless and until meters are always fixed by the DISCOM. No vendor is allowed to touch the meter. Meters are always installed by the utility companies, and they check the safety measures, and then only they're connected to the grid. That's as far as the presentation goes. From Prishad, we are open to questions. Yeah. Thank you.
LKG?
We're done, sir. So we're open to any questions.
Yeah, LKG would take the Q&A session, please.
Yeah.
Surely. I had a few questions to ask if nobody else does, and I think I'll start to prompt others to be interested.
Right.
First of all, what are the types of solar PV systems we can think of?
Dwanit.
Sure. See, depending on what kind of investment you're looking for and what kind of reliability and quality you're looking for, there are different kinds of systems available. But the most regular systems that are available now can be classified into three parts. One is your polycrystalline solar power plant, solar module based power plant. The other is your monocrystalline. And then there is a higher version called monocrystalline PERC, wherein there is a slightly higher efficiency of the panels. Now, depending on the technology, you will find that within a certain space of the panel itself, you will be able to generate more power. So effectively, when you are paying for a higher watt panel, so you will be moving from polycrystalline to monocrystalline PERC. So in the same amount of space, you will be generating more power. So that way, if you have a limitation of space at your premises, you can actually pay a little extra, get a better panel, and be able to generate what you want. And typically, this additional payment can be easily set off within 3 or 4 months of payback. So honestly, it's always better to go for the latest technology, because even with considering the O&M point of view, it's easier to get those panels in case there is any kind of maintenance after 10-15 years. I hope that answers your
Very
question.
interesting. What kind of roof is required for these kind of panels?
You have multiple, possibilities. You can have an RCC terrace. You can have a GI sheet ka roof. You can have an asbestos ka roof. You have a plain ground. We can build, a fabricated structure for it. So space is no bar as far as solar installations are concerned. You can choose where you want to do it. You just have to pay for what needs to be customized fabrication, and keeping in mind the wind loads and the earthquake loads of the location.
Now, typically for a 50 kilowatt, how much space would be required?
So 50 kilowatt, multiply that by 90 square feet, around 4,500 square feet is what will be required.
4,500.
4,500, yes.
Yeah. And now the solar obviously doesn't generate in monsoon or cloudy weather, I take it.
Not as obvious as you think. So the thing is, whenever any kind of proposals are given from our side, as it was mentioned during the presentation, that will give you monthly simulated generation. So a rule of thumb, if you can see in the morning, solar will generate. अगर उतना light है कि आप देख सकते हैं, solar is going to generate. So if it's monsoon and it's very cloudy, very dark, overcast conditions, you can still have your solar generating. It might not generate the most optimal power. It'll give you 25%. At least 25% to dega hi dega. So you don't have to worry about when it will not work. The only time it will not work is when there is a power outage. Because as per central government norms, during power outage, you cannot have your solar system running.
And now by power outage, you mean, could you explain a bit more?
Electricity cut jo hota hai apne yahan.
Yeah, but we can run solar, depend on solar if it's available.
So if it's an on-grid system, we are not allowed to run solar, because there is a chance of power going back, and if there is a maintenance activity going on, that person is at risk. That's why by the Ministry of Power, there is a CERC hai, Central Electricity Regulatory Commission. They have made this rule.
If we run a unit 24/7, can we depend on solar panels?
Absolutely. Yogesh, you want to take this question or you want to?
Yeah, no, you take it, please.
Okay. So, Mr. Singh, if you want to run it 24/7, absolutely fine. There are a few things that we need to check before that. I mean, considering you already have a distribution company ka connection, so you're already getting power. Now, let's say we are able to design your system in a way that your entire day's production can be offset by solar. Now, if your state's policy allows that whatever you produce in the morning can be used during the entire day or even during the entire month, then yes, you produce all your power that you need in the morning, then it will be banked virtually. And whenever you have usage, even though you have used it earlier, आपने grid से 2 दिन पहले ले लिया पर solar आपका पड़ा हुआ है, तो जब bill आएगा, तो it will be a net metered bill. So whatever you produced excess of what you consumed from solar and whatever you imported from the grid when you were not having solar, uska net bill aayega, and if you produced more than what you imported, your bill is zero or even minus, in fact.
What is the life of a solar plant typically?
So your solar panels come with a design life of 35 to 40 years. Rest of the items are all standard off-the-shelf items. Your inverters have a life of around 10 to 12 years. So we expect that during the life cycle, you might have to replace the inverter once or twice at the max during the life cycle of 40 years, which is hardly 5 to 8% of the cost considering power electronics being cheaper nowadays. And all the other items off the shelf. So let's say you're taking a plumbing ka pipe or electric ka pipe, all these things last for 20, 30 years without any problems. If the quality is good, of course.
So if you're connected to the grid, do we still need an inverter?
I'm sorry?
If we connect the solar system to the grid, do we need an inverter?
Yeah. When I say inverter, it's a solar inverter. So all your solar panels produce DC power. So no matter if you're on grid or off grid, you need some kind of inverter to convert this power, first of all, to DC to AC. Then depending on the kind of use, you have the type of inverter.
What could be the difference between the net metering and gross metering?
So that's a very good question, in fact, and it's a hot cake discussion going on right now. So net metering means whatever you produce can be offset against whatever you have consumed from the grid against each other at unit level itself without the commercial coming into the aspect. However, what gross metering means, whatever you produce will be directly fed into the grid.
Okay.
And whatever you consume, uska commercial jo hisab hoga wo aayega, and then whatever you have exported to the grid, uska alag commercial hisab aayega. So let's say you might be buying power at 7 rupees, but the government might say gross metering will only pay you 4 rupees for the unit you exported. So then what happens? You're only making a net benefit of 4 rupees instead of 7 rupees. You're making a loss of 3 rupees. So gross metering typically is a worse policy as compared to a net metering policy.
What kind of brand are used? Are they Indian or Chinese? Because there is a resistance against Chinese now. But are there panels available?
Yeah, we have enough modules available from across the world. It's just that the Chinese actually control more than 60 to 70% of world supplies as far as your purified silicon is considered, that is used in your solar modules. Same thing with the solar inverters as well. The ink that is used in the printed circuit boards, China controls most of the supply of this. So a lot of material does come from China, but India is also setting up and ramping up its capacities to make this happen over here. It's still in its nascent stage, but the technology is the same. We get the same kind of performance, buy it from China, buy it from India, both are reliable.
So I would just like to add, sir, here that just a case study, we are, about to do an 800 kilowatt plant in Gujarat, and I think we have to give an understanding there are no Chinese, materials used anywhere. Even the PCBs or the even nut bolts should not be Chinese. So as you rightly said, people are really don't want Chinese, but except the cell part, we can give guarantee warranty of earlier. Even the inverters can be Taiwanese or German. But panels, the cells, we can't guarantee about it because 80% of this is produced by China, but manufactured in India. So that is a very valid question here. People are now not, they say that we need Indian panels only, or Australian panels, or American. Yes, Malik. Yes, sir.
What is the term BOSS in the solar system? I mean, solar panels?
That means balance of system, BOS.
Okay.
It's just the acronym for every other part of the solar power plant, apart from solar panels and solar inverters, because that's a long list. That's about 80 items. So we just make it short, balance of systems.
Okay.
And
And thank you.
also,
You've been very,
sorry,
you've been
sir.
very, sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
See,
my questions are over. If others have any questions, they're welcome.
No,
And I hope they'll
balance.
share. But thank you very much. It's been very good.
Yeah, balance of system. What
I have a
Dwanit was
question
saying
here.
is, yes, sir, Mr. Reddy. So balance
Can
of
I? Can
system.
I?
Yes, sir. Please continue. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. See, most of the subject what we are talking about the for industrial point of view, MSME. What about the residential? Like wherever above 15 apartments for those people, how you suggest how it will be a commercial point of view?
So, like, so usually what happens, sir, with residential is if it's a cooperative society, let's take an example of a cooperative society. Like you said, there are 15 flats. Now we don't have enough roof. Ganit had said that we have to do feasibility. We have to see whether, I can go for 50 kilowatts, but do I have 5,000 square feet of space to install that, or 4,500 square feet space to install that 50 kilowatt? The answer will be no most of the times, if it is an ABC wing also. So usually what people do in cooperative societies, they go for common bills, the water pumps, lifts, the stilt lights, the garden lights and all, which are the common paid by all the members, they go solar. So it's win-win for all. It anyway reduces the cost. It may be 15 or a 20 or a 30 kilowatt plant over the lift room, and with the water tank also we use it at times to save on space, save on fabrication cost. And we install solar panels there in residential societies. And Gujarat has a very good subsidy program for 10 kilowatts or less per meter, right, Vanith? Right? Yeah. So there is no subsidy as such in Maharashtra at this point of time, in other states also, but Gujarat state is allowed. So residential, usually cooperative societies, we go for common lights for all the members. And in Maharashtra, I'd just like to brief the members. If somebody wants to go solar, the MCS has provided, it's an act now, Maharashtra Cooperative Societies. If the society doesn't go solar, and let's say you want to go solar, you have to just put in an application to the managing committee. And if the society is not going solar, they can't refuse. They have to allow you to go for renewable energy. So that's been, it's a law now in state of Maharashtra and a cooperative society, but we avoid educating because there'll be a lot of fights in the society as well. So we don't highlight much, but it's a law in state of Maharashtra. Right, sir?
What is the state of the Telangana state? Any idea for you?
Vanith, if you can.
Yeah. So as far as Telangana is concerned, you do have a residential subsidy policy in Telangana, quite robust and has been going on for the last 3 or 4 years, I think. Same policy as Gujarat, you have 10 kilowatt subsidy. The market rate is fixed by the government. However, as far as the quality is concerned, there's always options available. So you can choose to go with which vendor you want to go with, and choose what quality you want to go by paying the delta cost over whatever the government price is fixed. It comes with a 5-year maintenance contract, not including cleaning, but it takes care of all the other incidentals as well as any kind of breakdown. And as far as the commercial policy is concerned, that is quite similar to all the other states of India. However, there is no subsidy for commercial installations in Telangana.
Because you get a
Can I have any contact? I mean so that we can. What?
We'll share that with you, sir, the number and all. Right?
Telangana, where do you want, sir? Which city?
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. All right, sir.
So every state here, what Vanith is saying is every state central gives a central policy on solar. They come out with a policy, but each state will adopt in its own way. Like Maharashtra state has not adopted any policy as yet. They have not, like very rightly asked by Mr. Singh, gross metering and not metering, net metering. We are still, trying to find answers there. But Gujarat state has gone ahead and they've already announced a 5-year policy. You've already seen Prime Minister has already inaugurated a Kutch solar. Today also it's in news. When President has just sworn in Joe Biden, that US is back into Paris Climate Agreement where we are heading. It was proposed by India, is a very active member in Paris Climate. So again, he has promised to go back to renewable. So again, it's going to pick up solar, and I think so it's going to help. You read everything today in Economic Times, it's all about renewable energy. Adani has also sold some of his assets to an Australian company, but the renewable energy is in news today also.
Thank you.
There is one question from Mr. Akshay. If my plant requires a continuous supply, so should one choose on grid or off grid?
Dwanit,
It's a good question and a very technical one. We've been facing this question for a few years. If you need continuous supply, let's say if you already have connection of a distribution company, Torrent or MACB or GB, whatever it is, then your plant itself anyways is, connected 100% of the time. And if you want solar, you go with a grid connected power plant. Now, if you don't have any kind of connection already, and you want maybe it's a far away place and you're not getting a connection from the distribution company, then there is no option but to go with a battery backup system. However, you'll have to design that system in a way that whatever up down loads you might encounter, considering the maximum loads as well as the minimal battery maintenance load. So you'll have to consider those two things as far as your design is concerned, and then choose what kind of system you want to go for. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, but in that case, won't battery breakdown create hassles?
Okay, well, again, a good question. Battery breakdown is eventually becoming a thing of the past. Reason being, with the new lithium ion batteries that have been started manufacturing even in India now, the possibility of breaking down is, it's like, you buy a Tesla car, do you expect it to stop on the road? No. Why? Because the batteries are very reliable. Very much the same thing with lithium ion. In fact, a lot of European countries where I have colleagues working, they've shifted to lithium ion years back because they have a certain policy wherein they can take more benefit as compared to India. So with lithium ion batteries coming into play, again, no maintenance requirement for the lithium ion batteries. Just you have your phone, whatever battery is here, that's the bigger size of batteries used in your house. And you can absolutely use it without any headache of breaking down or stopping or any kind of outage.
So you all had given the comparison on grid. The data that you all shared was on grid. What about off grid? Will there be a major difference? I mean, when it talks about payback.
Yeah, there will be a difference. There will be a difference. Grid connected system most. Sorry, Yogesh, were you saying something?
No, it's a huge difference, I say.
It is a huge difference. Grid connected systems are the majority installed systems in India, as far as India is concerned. So that skill definitely helps. But when batteries come into the picture, the battery cost itself is quite high. Again, shifting to lithium-ion batteries now, what we are seeing in our field from VRLA and tubular batteries is again a big shift as far as your investment is concerned. Second, when batteries are involved, you have to generally oversize them because you need to take care of the batteries itself and the peak loads that you might encounter. So considering all these contingencies, your price just keeps adding up. So your payback is typically at least twice as compared to your on-grid solar power plant.
But in locations, for example, in Maharashtra, in MSAB locations, there is a lot of power outage. So then in that case, what would be the right option? Should we have a battery backup? Because when there is outage, you may not get your own power, which you have generated and put it on grid, but you won't get that power. Then what do we do?
You go for both the things when it's called hybrid. There's something called a hybrid solar power plant wherein you get the best of both the worlds. The payback will be somewhere in between your regular conventional connect on grid and off grid. The battery sizing will be dependent on how much load you might need to really optimally use during your outage hours. So yes, you can do that.
Great. I think it was good to hear you. I'll ask our Anil Reddy ji, our Vice President South, to do the honors.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. On behalf of All India Plastic Manufacturers Association, I would like to extend my gratitude to everyone who has contributed to the success of this conference. I would like to express my sincere thanks and appreciation towards our eminent speakers and expert panelists who not only made us familiar to the new technology, but also helped us to understand its advantages. I thank Mr. Harin Ji for his insightful lecture, and I'm grateful to Yogesh Ji. Also, I extend my thanks to Samir Ji, Devan Ji. Last year, I'd like to thank you, our attendees who have given us the support and made us this event an achievement. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, and last note, I would like to add, I would like to thank Ms. Firaz ma'am and Mr. Kalani, Harin Bhai introducing, and not to forget AIPMA and Raju and Sanju Desai too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I request everyone to rejoin at 2 o'clock when we have the next sessions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks.